folks, Norm the teacher here again, and it's time to make another video. Just have the urge to teach you something else. Today's video I'm going to show you how to disassemble a Taurus G2C handgun for cleaning purposes. And I just want to show you the simple steps involved with taking it apart, and you can do it real quick once you get it down. And that's this gun right here. Okay, the very first thing that you have to do when you want to clean a gun is think safety. Safety, safety, safety. Always. And so you have to unload the gun, of course. Right now this gun is loaded. It's not chambered though, but I'm going to assume that it is. The very first thing you want to do is you want to press the latch here, the magazine release latch. You press that and your magazine drops out with the ammunition in it. Now, if you carry chambered, there will be a round in here. I don't, but for safety purposes I'm going to clear it anyway, and I'm going to show you what I do to clear it. What you have to do is, while the gun is pointed in a safe direction, and this, I'm going to point it over here, and that's a known safe direction. I know what's behind all that. Okay? You have to pull it back and look to see if you can see any ammunition in that chamber there. I'm filming with two cameras here, so I got to move things around. Okay? Now, I can see that there's nothing in there. Now, and then when you pull the slide back, this top part of the gun here is called the slide. If there was ammunition in there, it would eject it, assuming it's operating properly. Okay, so that's clearing the gun for safety purposes. Okay, now remember that. Always think safety, safety, safety. Okay, especially at this next step. This gun, in order to get this slide off, I have to disconnect the slide from two contact points. There's a contact point right here where you see this little notched surface here. There's a bar that pushes up and keeps this slide from sliding off the frame. This bottom part of the gun here is called a frame. From about here on down is the frame, and here on up is the slide. Okay, there's a bar that goes all the way across, and it fits up into a notch in this barrel assembly here. Okay, that's one point of contact. Now, when I pulled the slide back to clear the gun and check it for safety purposes, that also cocks the gun. And when you cock the gun, the firing pin, it gets engaged with the sear. A sear is part of the frame here, and that sear pushes up, it's spring loaded, it pushes up and engages a notch on the firing pin and holds the firing pin in the cock position until you want to shoot the gun. Okay, so you have to disconnect it there also. The way you disconnect it there is you have to pull the trigger. Now, this is what gets people killed. They pull the trigger and they forget there's a round in the chamber. Okay, well, I just cleared it, showed you that there's no round in the chamber. I'm mentally taking my time here to think, okay, is there a round in the chamber? No, there isn't. I just cleared it. I just showed you guys. So, I'm going to point the gun in a safe direction, which I'm going to be pointing down here at the floor. And I'm going to pull the trigger. That'll move the firing pin forward. The sear will go down and disengage from the firing pin. The firing pin will go forward, and then this slide will be disconnected from the frame at that point. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Right now I'm going to point it at the ground. You can hear that click? That was the sear disconnecting here and the firing pin going forward. So the slide now is disconnected from the frame, but it's still connected here via this bar that goes across to keep this slide from going off the frame this way. So what you do is you have to you can see there's little friction notches here. You put your index finger here, and then there's one on the other side also. Right here. Right here. You put your thumb there and you pull down. Notice how I can pull down, but before you can pull down, you have to take off the spring tension. There's springs up here, recoil springs, that put spring tension on this bar that goes across. So you pull the gun back slightly. See if I can do this. The easiest way I do it is I put it against my belly. And I hopefully this will show I get this position. Put it against my belly. I pull back. Notice how the slide comes back just a little bit? I just took the spring tension off of that bar. Now I can pull this down. And then I put the bar forward. And notice how there's a little gap here now. That means on both sides there's a little gap on the top. See the gap there? See the gap there on top? Same thing on this side, gap here. That means now that and notice also that it's a little bit offset back here. This slide has moved forward just a little bit. That means this slide now is disengaged from the frame here. And it's disengaged from the sear here because you pulled the trigger. And when it's like that, you should be able to just pull the slide off. And I did. The slide's now off the gun, or off the frame. This is the frame, this is the slide. It's easier to see now that they're apart. Okay? Now there's all kinds of things to clean in here. All kinds of dust and grit and stuff builds up in here. You want to clean inside the frame. And here, you want to take the barrel out. You want to take out the recoil springs. Here's how you do it. Push a little bit on it and lift up. Your recoil springs come out. Don't ever take this apart. If you ever get it apart, you probably won't get it back together. Just leave it alone. Clean it as a unit. Okay, now the barrel. The barrel just lifts out. It just comes up and pulls out. And now you got a slide without a barrel in it. Here's the firing pin. This is what engages with the sear. See that spring-loaded tension there? That notch there engages with the sear. I'll show it to the other camera here. That notch here engages with the sear. Okay, that bar that I told you about here, notice, see how I pull it down? I'm pulling these down now, and watch the bar go down. Okay, can you see that? That bar engages with this surface right, get my pointer, right here. Or right there, rather. Right there. Okay? So when you pull down, it disengages that. When you pull down, it disengages that. Alright, so you now have the barrel out, and you can put a brush through there and clean it real well. And clean other things. And you can clean all this stuff in here. You can clean these rails here. Because it's these rails. I should leave that pointer over here. It's these rails that the slides on the frame. And right here. Got to show both cameras. There's a rail. There's a rail. Okay. Okay. And you can see there's dirt and dust down here. And those rails slide on here. On these surfaces here. Right here. There's the sear that I was telling you about. Notice how I can depress it. See, that sear presses down, and that releases the firing pin. So just kind of remember that when you're cleaning this. when you're cleaning this, when it's cocked, it's attached here. Matter of fact, there's the notch that the ledge that the firing pin attaches to right there. When that goes down, it releases it. Okay, so, and then this part here, I push down on that, and you can see these move down. See? See? All right. Now, there's a lot more to explain about this gun and its mechanical operation, and I will be doing that eventually in other videos. But I don't like real long videos. I try to keep them at 8, 9, 10 minutes. So basically, this is taken apart now where you can clean it. You can disassemble it much further down than this, but I don't suggest doing that if you're new to guns. You have to push out pins here and take out some screws and things like that, and you can disassemble it further down, but for cleaning purposes and general use, this is good enough. Alright, so let's see here. Oh, I'll put it back together for you real quick. When you put it back together, you take your recoil spring and put it, well, no, first of all, you put your barrel back in. Put the barrel back in. It goes through this hole right here. To where that's sticking up. Then you put your recoil spring back in. Have your recoil spring engage at that in this area right here. See it right there? Of the barrel. Okay. Then take the rear of the slide and put it on these rails here, these tabs here. Filming with 2 cameras here. So now this thing, when you put this back together, you'll get a binding. And notice how there's a little bit of a ledge here. Get rid of that ledge. See this ledge? See that ledge right there? Push it where you don't have it. In other words, have it perfectly aligned along the edge of the frame here. And then it pushes on. Now, when it pushes on, you have to push it back just a little bit more to get rid of this up here, this overhang. Now, watch when I do that. I'm going to push just slightly, and you'll hear a click. That click is this part that engages with the slide springing up. Okay? This gun now is ready for use. Back together. Put the magazine back in. And I'm ready to defend myself again with it. So, that's it, folks. That's just basically the basic disassembly of this gun. I'm going to go into more detail as how this gun operates. And I'm also going to do another video on whether you should carry chambered or not with this gun. And the answer to carrying chambered with this gun is both yes and no. There's a safe way to carry chambered, and then there's an unsafe way. There's a way to hack this gun where you can have double action on the first shot, even though it's not really designed for it. And it does not involve modifying the gun at all. And I'll show you that hack in another video. So right now, I'm done with this video. I appreciate you all watching. I'm getting more subscribers. I got about 112 or so now. And I never thought I'd have that many people that interested in me. Oh gosh, it's so heartwarming. And so I'll be making more videos, and stay tuned and subscribe if you want to be notified of future videos that I make. We'll see you, folks.